Welcome to Dogs Info. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine you walked out the door today and never came back. Just vanished. Would your dog know you were gone? Or would they sit by the door day after day waiting for a key to turn in the lock that never will? We like to think we know our dogs. We feed them. We walk them. We call them family. But the terrifyingly beautiful truth is this. Your dog does not see you the way you see yourself. In their eyes, you are not just a human. You are something far more ancient, far more complex, and heartbreakingly temporary. Today, we are going to peel back the layers of your dog's mind to reveal 15 shocking truths about how they truly perceive you. And I promise you, by the time we get to the last one, you will never look at your best friend the same way again. At the end of this video, I have a special gift for those who want to know exactly what kind of caretaker they are. I'll show you how to find out which archetype you fall into. So, make sure to stay with me until the very end. Let us begin with the heaviest question of all. Does your dog actually know when you are gone for good? We have all seen those gut-wrenching videos of dogs waiting patiently at train stations for an owner who passed away or refusing to leave a graveside. It tears our hearts apart because we instantly project our own human understanding of mortality and permanent loss onto them. We assume they are grieving exactly the way we grieve. But the reality taking place inside their minds is vastly more complex and in many ways far more tragic. For a dog, time is an incredibly fluid abstract concept. They do not possess the cognitive architecture to understand clocks, days of the week, or the turning of calendar pages. Instead, they measure the passage of time through biological rhythms. They measure it by the changing angle of the sun, the slow rise of their own hunger, and most importantly, the rhythm of your scent. When you leave for work in the morning, your scent in the house is strong. As the hours pass, that scent begins to steadily decay. By the time it reaches a specific level of faintness, their internal clock tells them it is time for you to walk back through the door. Because they do not have a concept of never. They exist in a state of perpetual unwavering hope. When a human disappears from their life, a dog does not cognitively understand that they have passed away. They simply believe you are delayed. They feel a sharp, agonizing physical emptiness in the physical space where your energy used to reside. They will listen to the deafening silence of the house, perking their ears for the highly specific vibration of your footsteps. This is why they will obsessively sleep on your old shirts or lay by the door. They are actively trying to keep your ghost alive through the lingering molecules of your scent. To a dog, as long as your smell exists on a pillow, you are still partly there. It is a heartbreaking state of suspended animation, a fiercely loyal refusal to accept that the rhythm of your shared life has stopped forever. The scent of your soul. Have you ever tried to quietly hide your tears from your dog? Perhaps you locked yourself in the bathroom to cry after a devastating phone call so you wouldn't upset anyone in the house. You didn't make a single sound. You dried your eyes, took a deep breath, and walked out. Yet the very second you opened the door, your dog was right there, urgently nudging your hand or pressing their heavy head firmly against your leg. How did they possibly know? Here is the undeniable scientific truth. You cannot lie to a dog. It is biologically impossible. Humans rely almost entirely on verbal language and facial expressions to communicate, both of which can be easily faked. We force a smile when we are shattering inside. We say "I'm fine" when our world is falling apart. But dogs do not listen to your words. They read your chemistry. When you experience profound sadness, your internal body chemistry violently shifts. Your tears actually contain different proteins depending on whether they are from joy or grief. Your sweat glands alter their output. You release invisible pheromones that broadcast distress like a foghorn. To a dog's astonishingly complex olfactory system, sadness has a very distinct tangible smell. Anxiety has a smell. Pure fear smells sharply of metal and salt. Science has definitively proven that dogs can actively smell cortisol, the primary stress hormone oozing from your pores. When you are quietly panicking, your dog isn't just reading your facial cues. They are inhaling the dramatic change in your biological aura. They rush to your side not because they comprehend the intricate details of your financial stress or your recent breakup, but because you literally smell like an open wound. They will try to lick your hands to physically clean the pain away, pressing their steady, rhythmic heartbeat against your chaotic one, desperately trying to balance your chemistry back to normal. You are an open book written in an invisible chemical ink that only they possess the ability to read. The living diagnostic machine. If a dog can smell the invisible fluctuations of your mood, can they smell the hidden failures of your physical health? The answer is a resounding and awe-inspiring yes. This is not folklore. It is deeply grounded in clinical science. There are thousands of heavily documented medical cases where dogs have successfully detected the early onset of cancer, dangerous spikes in blood sugar, and impending neurological seizures long before multi-million-dollar hospital machines could pick them up. When your body is fighting a rogue illness or mutating cells, your entire metabolic process changes. These microscopic changes release what scientists call volatile organic compounds, VOCs. These are incredibly tiny distinct scent markers that continually escape through your breath, your urine, and your skin. Human noses are utterly blind to this. But to a dog whose nasal cavity contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our meager 6 million, these microscopic markers are like flashing neon warning signs. There are countless incredible stories of dogs becoming suddenly and obsessively fixated on a specific mole on their owner's leg, whining, nudging, and pawing at the spot for months until the annoyed owner finally visited a dermatologist only to discover it was early-stage melanoma. The dog was not acting out or being annoying. The dog was acting as an advanced biological diagnostician. Think about the sheer magnitude of attention required to notice a microscopic shift in your biological scent profile. They know your baseline. They know exactly what your healthy, thriving cells smell like. When that baseline fractures, they know instantly. If your dog suddenly becomes hyper-focused on a part of your body, do not brush it off. They are likely hearing a faint terrifying whisper from your biology that you are completely deaf to the biological off switch. What exactly are you to your dog? Are you simply the towering figure that opens the kibble bag? The designated door opener? Absolutely not. To your dog, you function as a literal biological safety switch. In the wild, animals must live in a constant, exhausting state of chronic alertness. They must perpetually scan the horizon for predators, fiercely defend their territory from rivals, and endlessly scavenge for their next meal. It is a life where stress hormones are always simmering just beneath the surface of the skin. But researchers have uncovered a magical physiological reaction that occurs inside the modern home. When a dog looks directly into the eyes of their bonded human, or when that human simply reaches down to stroke their fur, the dog's internal levels of oxytocin, the powerful love and bonding hormone, skyrocket while their cortisol levels simultaneously plummet. This is the exact same chemical feedback loop that occurs between a human mother and her newborn infant. When you enter a room, your physical presence allows your dog to completely power down their ancient survival mode. Watch your dog when they are deep in sleep. On the living room rug, notice how their paws wildly twitch, how incredibly deep and rhythmic their breathing becomes, and how vulnerably they expose their soft underbelly to the open room. They can only achieve that profound level of restorative REM sleep because they are operating under the absolute certainty that you are guarding the perimeter. You are their safe harbor. Your mere existence mathematically lowers their blood pressure. You are the heavy anchor that prevents them from drifting out into a terrifying sea of wild anxiety. The empathy of the mirror. Let us examine a daily behavior that seems so trivial, you likely brush right past it, yet it reveals a staggering amount about canine empathy. Have you ever let out a long, loud yawn, and within seconds you look down to see your dog yawning right back at you? We casually dismiss this thinking, oh, we must both be sleepy. But the neurological reality is far deeper. In the scientific community, this is known as contagious yawning. It is a highly complex psychological phenomenon that is almost exclusively reserved for intensely social, deeply empathetic species like humans, chimpanzees, and dolphins. Contagious yawning requires a creature to possess the ability to emotionally map themselves onto another being. It is an involuntary sign of deep emotional connection. When your dog catches your yawn, they are actively mirroring your physiological state. They are tuning their internal radio dial to your exact frequency. But this mirroring effect bleeds into every aspect of your shared life. Have you ever noticed that on the days when you are frantically cleaning the house, rushing from room to room with high, chaotic energy, your dog is nervously pacing right behind you? Yet the moment you finally collapse onto the sofa with a heavy blanket and a book, they instantly drop to the floor and fall fast asleep. They are not merely mimicking your actions. They are emotionally sinking into your state of being. In the wild, a pack must move as one cohesive unit to survive. They must hunt together and they must rest together. By mirroring your shifting energy, your dog is constantly silently reaffirming a sacred vow. I am with you. We are one. The invisible umbilical cord. You are walking your dog through a sprawling local park. You unzip their leash, granting them the ultimate freedom to run, sniff, and explore. They sprint ahead, nose buried in the fascinating scents of the wet grass. But every couple of minutes, without you ever calling their name, they abruptly stop, turn their head back, lock eyes with you for a split second, and then continue running. Why do they do this? They know perfectly well you haven't moved. They can hear your footsteps crunching on the gravel. This behavior is known as the check-in, and it is one of the most beautiful definitive proofs that you are not just their caretaker, but their trusted leader. In the sprawling wilderness of a wolf pack, members must constantly check the visual location of the others to ensure the group remains a tight, formidable unit. When your dog voluntarily pauses their joyous exploration to look back at you, they are asking a series of silent questions. Are you still behind me? Are we still moving together? Are we safe? They are willingly tethering their boundless freedom to your steady presence. A dog that feels no deep bond would simply vanish into the trees. But a dog that loves you wants to conquer the world only if you are there to witness it. It is a silent, beautiful conversation happening dozens of times an hour. I am here. You are there. We are together. It is how they hold your hand without ever touching you. The weight of devotion. We often completely misinterpret this next behavior, brushing it off as our dogs being pushy or begging for scraps. You are standing at the kitchen counter doing the dishes and your dog quietly wanders over and leans the entire heavy weight of their body firmly against your shins. If you were to step away, they would literally fall over. In the canine world, this physical press is the exact equivalent of a profound lingering hug. But it is also a fascinating transfer of emotional and physical responsibility. Leaning is an ultimate display of trust. By firmly pressing their body mass against yours, they are physically bridging the gap between your separate spaces. Very often, dogs will initiate the lean when they are feeling unsure, overwhelmed, or slightly anxious about a loud noise or a strange visitor. They are quite literally leaning on your strength. They are telling you, my world feels unstable right now. Please let me borrow your stability. Conversely, incredibly confident dogs will use the lean to offer you their strength. If they smell the cortisol of your sadness, or if you have been standing perfectly still in quiet contemplation, they will press their solid weight against you to communicate, I am right here. I am immovable. If you feel like you are going to fall, I will hold you up. The anticipation of the universe. This is the phenomenon that gives even the most skeptical scientists goosebumps. It is a story told by millions of dog owners around the globe. You are driving home from a long day at work. You are still miles away. You haven't turned onto your neighborhood street. Your car engine cannot possibly be heard. And you haven't touched the front door yet. Back inside your quiet house, your dog suddenly lifts their head from a deep sleep, shakes off their lethargy, walks directly to the front window, and begins a slow, rhythmic tail wag. How is this possible? Scientists have dedicated years to studying this bizarre anticipation. While some of it can be attributed to their astonishing ability to hear the specific ultra-high frequency of your car's tires from incredible distances, there remains a mystical element that defies simple biology. Biologist Rupert Sheldrake refers to this as a morphic field, a telepathic invisible elastic band that stretches between two deeply bonded beings. But perhaps the truth is even more poetic. Perhaps they are so exquisitely intimately attuned to the precise rhythm of your existence that they can physically feel the shift in the atmosphere when you begin pulling closer to them. In their universe, you are the sun. And just as the Earth's atmosphere begins to warm and shift long before the sun actually crests the horizon, your dog feels the gravitational pull of your approach. Their entire existence is structured around the singular glorious moment of your return. The chemistry of a stare. If you study the animal kingdom, direct unbroken eye contact is almost universally understood as a grave threat. If a lone wolf locks eyes with another wolf, it is a guarantee that violence is about to erupt. If you stare unblinkingly into the eyes of an anxious stray dog on the street, you are daring them to bite you. And yet, your dog will sit across the living room and stare deeply, softly, and endlessly into your eyes while you sit on the couch. This is a monumental masterpiece of evolution. Dogs are one of the only species on the planet that have completely rewired their brains to read human eyes with love rather than fear. They look at your eyes to constantly gauge your intent and mood. But more astonishingly, they use this prolonged eye contact to actively trigger the release of oxytocin in both of your brains. When your dog gazes at you with those wide, soft, incredibly relaxed eyes, they are giving your brain a chemical hug. They are speaking the words, "I love you," using the only biological tool they have. If you ever catch your dog softly staring at you from across a quiet room, do not ignore them or look away. Stop what you are doing. Look back at them. Soften the muscles in your face and blink very slowly. Tell them in their native tongue, "I see you and I love you, too." The devastation of rejection. There is a common comforting myth that dogs forgive and forget. And while it is true that they possess an immense, boundless capacity for forgiveness, they most certainly do not forget how you make them feel. When you snap at your dog out of sheer frustration because you had a miserable day at the office, or when you forcefully shove them away from your lap because you are irritated by an email on your phone, they do not possess the context to understand your human problems. They know absolutely nothing about bad bosses, missed deadlines, or financial ruin. The only undeniable fact their brain registers is that their absolute favorite being their singular source of ultimate safety and joy has just aggressively rejected them. Dogs do not hold resentful grudges the way humans do. They will not plot revenge or give you the silent treatment to teach you a lesson. Instead, they feel a sharp, profound, and incredibly confusing emotional pain. You can see the heartbreak cascade through their anatomy. Their ears pin back, their posture shrinks, their tail tucks tightly to protect their vulnerability, and they slowly retreat to the farthest corner of the room. It is a quiet, devastating internalization of blame. They sit in the dark wondering, "What did I do wrong? Am I no longer safe in this pack?" This is why emotional consistency is the greatest gift you can give a dog. When you reject them, it doesn't make them angry. It makes them horribly, painfully lonely. If you do, lose your temper, swallow your human pride, and make it right immediately. Call them back to you. Soften your voice and repair the fracture. The invisible map of your presence. We often think of our homes visually as a collection of walls, furniture, and light. But to your dog, your house is an invisible glowing three-dimensional topographic map composed entirely of your discarded biology. As you walk from the kitchen to the bedroom, you leave behind an invisible snowstorm of microscopic skin cells, sweat molecules, and a lingering thermal footprint. Your dog does not merely see the couch. They see a brightly glowing thermal and olfactory beacon where your body heat and scent have fundamentally altered the fabric. This is how they navigate the world. You are literally painting their reality with your biological exhaust. When you leave the house for the day, the home does not become empty to them. It becomes a fading museum of where you just were. They will meticulously trace the invisible pathways you walked that morning, seeking out the spots where the Glow of your scent is the strongest, usually your side of the bed, the chair you drink coffee in, or the rug where you put on your shoes. They are navigating by the ghost of your presence. To them, you never completely leave a room. Your essence simply slowly evaporates until you return to paint the house again. The categorization of a god. For a long time, behavioral scientists assumed that because dogs treat us like pack members, they must simply view humans as very large, strangely shaped, hairless dogs. But groundbreaking functional MRI, fMRI brain scans have recently shattered this theory. When a dog is placed in an MRI machine and presented with the smell of another unfamiliar dog, the social and analytical centers of their brain light up. They recognize a peer. But when that exact same dog is presented with the unique scent of their specific human owner, an entirely different neurological fireworks display occurs. The caudate nucleus, the brain's primary reward and absolute joy center, explodes with activity. This is an area of the brain that does not light up for other dogs. No matter how friendly they are, your dog is acutely scientifically aware that you are a completely different species. They know you are not a dog. You have been placed into an entirely separate elevated psychological category. To them, you are a mystical provider of endless resources. You are the bringer of food, the opener of locked doors, the creator of fire and warmth. They study your bizarre human quirks with the intensity of a scholar. They learn that when you put on hard denim pants, you are leaving the territory, but when you put on soft sweatpants, you're staying for the night. They do not view you as just another dog. They view you as a benevolent magical deity. The acoustic fingerprint of your heart. Dogs do not hear the world the way we do. While we listen to the distinct syllables and definitions of words, your dog is listening to the intricate, sweeping, melodic contour of your voice. They have perfectly memorized the unique acoustic fingerprint of your vocal cords, but their acoustic connection to you goes far deeper than speech. A dog's hearing is so agonizingly precise that in a quiet room, they can actually hear the rhythmic thumping of your heart beating inside your chest. When you are deeply relaxed, your heartbeat slows to a steady, comforting metronome. Your dog hears this low-frequency thud and actively uses it to pace their own internal rhythms. If you become suddenly terrified by a loud noise outside or a tense scene in a movie, your heart rate instantly spikes. Before you have even consciously registered your own fear, your dog has already heard the chaotic acceleration of your heart muscle. They will often jump up instantly alert, scanning the room for the unseen threat that has caused their human's internal drum to beat so violently. You are their acoustic anchor. The sound of your calm, steady heartbeat is the ultimate lullaby that allows them to close their eyes and trust the dark. The comfort of the stolen. It is an incredibly common scenario. You leave the house for an hour and when you return, you find your dog proudly lying on their bed, surrounded by a pile of your dirty socks, a stolen shoe, or a crumpled t-shirt from the laundry hamper. We often get annoyed scolding them for being mischievous thieves, but pause and deeply analyze what they are actually stealing. They never steal the freshly washed towels from the linen closet. They never steal a brand new unworn pair of pants. They specifically target the dirty socks you wore on a 10-hour shift. They drag out the faded t-shirt you slept and sweat in for 2 nights. Why? Because those specific items are heavily saturated with the secretions of your apocrine sweat glands. They are the items that smell the most intensely, overwhelmingly like you. When you are gone and the terrible silence of the empty house begins to close in on them, your dog desperately surrounds themselves with your scent as a biological mechanism to self-soothe. It triggers a slow release of dopamine in their stressed brain. It is the exact psychological equivalent of a terrified human toddler tightly clutching a favorite security blanket. Your dirty laundry is their security blanket. It makes them feel as though your arms are wrapped tightly around them when you are miles away. The next time you find your favorite shoe dragged into their crate, do not yell. Realize that in a moment of profound loneliness, your best friend just wanted to hold your hand. The god of a small universe. And finally, we arrive at the most shattering, humbling truth of all. Think about the vast complex tapestry of your human life. You have a demanding career. You have a wide circle of friends, family, and acquaintances. You have complex hobbies, favorite restaurants, and the ability to travel the globe at a moment's notice. You have a rich, long past that existed long before you met your dog. And painfully, you will almost certainly have a long future after they are gone. But to your dog, you are not just a part of their world. You are their absolute entire universe. From the second they open their eyes in the morning to the moment they finally succumb to sleep at night, their entire reality revolves exclusively around your orbit. Their baseline happiness is completely utterly dependent on your shifting moods. Their fundamental physical safety depends entirely on your presence. They have no lofty career ambitions, no social media to scroll, no upcoming vacations to look forward to. Their only desperate burning hope for the entire day is that at some point you will stop what you are doing, look down at them, gently touch their head, and simply say their name. This is exactly why they completely lose their minds with joy when you return from a 5-minute trip to the mailbox. It is why they insist on following you into the bathroom. It is why they sit and stare at you while you mindlessly watch television. Because you are the blazing sun and they are just a tiny devoted planet desperately trying to stay warm in your light. Knowing this profound truth changes absolutely everything, doesn't it? It makes those annoying early morning walks in the freezing rain feel vastly more important. It makes the quiet evening cuddles on the couch feel incredibly urgent. It makes the mild irritation of a chewed slipper or a sudden bark instantly fade away into nothingness because you finally realize that for this heartbreakingly short, beautiful window of time that they are on this earth, you hold the ultimate privilege. You are the god of their small, perfect universe. So please, when you finish reading this, go find your dog. Look deeply into their eyes. Truly see the ancient complex, beautifully unconditional love burning fiercely behind them. They do not think you are just a human. They think you are absolutely everything. You have just seen how deeply and obsessively your dog studies you. But have you ever stopped to analyze yourself? The way you love and provide for them directly shapes their entire psychological reality. Out of the millions of people out there, psychology reveals there are exactly 10 specific types of dog owners. And your dog already knows exactly which one you are. Are you the anxious protector, the steady pack leader, or an archetype you never even realized? It is time to uncover the truth. Scan this QR code right now or click the link in the description below. It is a completely free quiz and it only takes 2 minutes. If this journey into the mind of your best friend touched your heart and if it made you want to wrap your arms around your dog a little tighter today, we want to know exactly who you are holding. Down in the comments below, leave the name of the incredible dog who looks at you like you are the center of the universe. Thanks for watching and like and subscribe, share please.